You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good day, and welcome to the Mushie Moment with myself and my awesome co-host, Rev Cindy. We're coming to you live today on Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. How you doing?
August, 2 days. August is in 2 days. That's
I know. It's just cruising by. And the blackberries are blooming like crazy out here in BC. There's a nice rain. They're juicy as all get out. I'm just walking. I'm taking Meek out for a walk and just gorging. I'm gorging on blackberries.
Yeah. And there's not just blackberries, but you've got a cherry tree and an apple tree that are around there.
Yeah, and blueberries are happening as well. And, I'm a fruitarian, and I eat a few other things on the side. If it wasn't for fruit, I'd be a donutarian.
Donutarian. Yeah. Krispy Kreme.
How you doing?
Busy. Life has been insanely busy for me lately. The course that I am taking has gotten busier by about 5 times. It's pretty crazy. But I'm loving it. We're learning different integration therapies right now. We did last night's lecture was on the somatic, different somatic therapies and modalities. Yeah.
Wow.
Lots of stuff. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. And that's just school. I mean, I also have a daughter and 2 grandchildren and a life besides that. So, yeah, it's been busy.
It's been a life?
Yeah, I try to.
My life is my dog.
And you love it. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's raining, so that should put out a few of the fires. There's been a lot of fires out here in BC. So, the rain is always good to put the fire out, but sometimes along with the rain comes the lightning to start more fires. But,
Yeah. Alberta, it's been devastating in Alberta. Jasper is 80% gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that, the world knows how to keep regrowing.
That's right. That's right. Lisa Ray says, hi, guys.
Hi, Lisa. How was your coffee? we went to Milano's yesterday.
You drank coffee for 5 hours. I'm jealous, but yet I didn't get the jitters, so I'm not so jealous.
But he roasted a batch right there live for us. It was an awesome experience.
Oh yeah, that would have been beautiful.
Brian's blend,
which is a great blend. I have had it. It's one of my favorite to pick up and bring home.
Hey. We got a cool guest on today.
We do. And I find it very interesting that you the only one thing I'm going to say about this gentleman is that you brought on an integration specialist as I start learning about integration in my course. I think it's perfect timing.
Yeah, it couldn't be better. So our guest is, I'm going to see if I can actually even roll the R's, because I'm betting that the R's in the second name are supposed to be rolled. So I'm going to try. Alejandro Hierro.
How did he do?
You did pretty good, Steve. I'm impressed. Thank you for the effort. And hi, Cindy. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Should I give a quick rundown on you?
Sure. Why not? Let's see if I actually kind of live up to my hype. So,
Okay.
Cindy, let's see where
You're
we
a
this takes us.
psychedelic integration coach, and you
Yes.
currently do that at this place scrolling across the bottom,
Yeah.
betteryoucare.com. Correct?
Yes. Yes. Better You Care is a clinic in the U.S. that works mainly with ketamine assisted psychotherapies, but they are a very integrative wellness clinic that's growing a lot so far. So happy to be a part of them.
Exciting.
And you've had 17-year career, social work, behavioral health. And in that 17 years, obviously there's psychedelic experience as well.
hmm
Are you doing psychedelic experiences through that 17 years?
I actually started, if we dived really deep into it, somewhere around 6 years ago in my psychedelic experiences. The way that it all kind of came through for me, actually, I was working at a mental health clinic in San Isidro, and I was offered an opportunity to go take a training in the UK. This training was related to something that's called neuro linguistic programming. So basically, like a 10-day kind of retreat where we would get to learn these modalities and kind of just dive deep into the training so that we could actually kind of bring that back into our professional kind of field. I got approved to actually go from my clinic. I also had like vacation hours added on, so I just kind of took it as a little kind of learning trip vacation. I got invited by a very close friend of mine who basically said, just come over and we will take care of the rest. So I just had to plan my flight, plan my trip and everything, got there, pretty cool adventure. Was in this very beautiful place called the Lake District in the UK. Spent 10 days basically in a cabin with a bunch of other people just learning about ourselves, learning about treatment modalities with neuro-linguistic programming and just kind of processing all emotions and things like that. And quasi, I suppose, at the end, very psychedelic experiences just because of how things go. Like we don't need substances to get into these spaces every now and then. So definitely a non-ordinary state of consciousness at the end when we went through it. And then when I came back home to Tijuana. I live in Tijuana, in Mexico, with the border of between the border of San Diego, California, and Baja California here in Mexico. I went back to my job, and then all of a sudden they downsized, and I got laid off a little bit because I wasn't working full time. I was working part time. They needed another type of structure, so they just kind of laid me off. I was like, okay, so what do I need to do next? Serendipitously, I started running into just social media for family and friends, and a cousin of mine started posting things that I felt were not in his kind of purview of the normal things that he would be posting. Actually, he wouldn't be someone that posted stuff online anyway. So very, very kind of wellness oriented, very new age oriented, very just kind of positive vibes oriented. So I started speaking with him and I was like, hey, guys, this doesn't seem like you. Like I would really want to just kind of know what's going on because it sounds like it's a little more aligned to the things that I'm doing in my life. And he said, well, let's go get a coffee shop. So we go get a coffee and he tells me all his story about how he went to Peru with a friend of his. He went to experience an ayahuasca ceremony. And when he was over there in the ayahuasca ceremony, this guide, shaman, however we want to call him, told him like, "Hey, I want to talk to you. I want to tell you something that the abuelita, the mother ayahuasca, kind of mentioned that the message that she wants me to give you. This is to my cousin. My cousin says like, okay, he's kind of weirded out, and he says, well." Abuelita Ayahuasca says that you are going to be doing this for the rest of your life and that I need to help you prepare for these experiences. My cousin, very agnostic back then, he says like, sure, yeah, whatever, like I'm not into this whole thing. And then he just starts explaining things that this shaman shouldn't know. My cousin gets a little concerned, scared, and upset. And he's like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with this. Comes back to Tijuana. And then just by sheer coincidence, um, the shaman ends up in Tijuana because his friend wanted to open up a clinic in Baja to work with ayahuasca for treatment and for mental health issues and all these things. He couldn't find a place for him to stay, so he ends up staying with my cousin, and he stays with my cousin for a little over a month. And during that month, he starts doing all these ceremonies almost daily. And every day that he goes to the ceremony, the shaman asks my cousin, "So are you ready to do this? Are you ready to go into it? Are you like feeling the calling or something?" He always says no, 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 no. And not going too much deep into it, he says at the final ceremony, he says like, "You know what? Just stop telling me and sending me messages. If someone wants to tell me, they should tell me in person. Like I don't want to learn about these things through third party people." So kind of like basically saying, if ayahuasca is telling me that I need to do this, then let ayahuasca tell me. And the way that he says is that in his final ceremony, he saw this figure kind of appear in front of him, made of like leaves and plants and just kind of however you want to imagine it. And he says that, "Okay, so now that I'm here in front of you, are you going to say yes or no?" So he said, "Okay." And that was over 10 years ago now. So he's been doing ayahuasca ceremonies for over 10 years now. He also now does psilocybin ceremonies as well. So he told me about all that, and he said, like, "Hey, if you're interested, if you want to join, just kind of come over, join. I would really be happy if you kind of be a part of one of these experiences." So I said yes. I was curious. I was a little concerned. I had always had this kind of reluctance towards psychedelics. Of course, just growing up, millennial, 90s kid, 2000s kind of young adult. The whole thing about drugs was always like drugs are bad, right? The whole commercials of the egg. This is your brain on drugs, and this is and what happens, right? So I was always very concerned about that, and I always thought like, hey, I would never want to do anything to my brain that will mess up just who I am, because I would always value myself and my intelligence and just my cognitive abilities. So I wouldn't want to mess with that, and I was very very concerned about the consequences. So I'm studying social work during all this period. I also started learning that when I was younger that the laws implemented based on the risks or dangers on the substances that are Schedule 1 versus what the science was saying was not really the same thing, right? And I was like, okay, so there's some gap there. And then just kind of learning about my cousin, knowing that he's gone through this for a few years now, that he would never put me in a situation that I would be putting me in harm's way. I was like, okay, I'll go into this. I'll try it. I'll see what happens. I go into it really not knowing what to expect. It's kind of being okay. Let's see what happens. Go through the whole kind of experience, the whole ritual. I drink the ayahuasca, and I'm there for about 20-30 minutes or so, and then all of a sudden, like, I start seeing little colors everywhere just pop up, and I start feeling the music very very more intensely, like just my body, like all the senses in my body start kind of like lighting up. Everything becomes so intense, so powerful, just not accustomed to kind of like sensing everything in that way. And again, like, just time seems to slow down. There's like this little kind of halo effect to everything. I could listen to people, and they were like talking very far away from me, and it was almost like they were speaking right next to me. All the sounds and everything just starts blending together, and it just felt very blissful and kind of like transcendental. I don't know exactly how you would be able to explain it, but I'm sure the people that have gone through these kind of know what it is. And then all of a sudden I go like, okay, so this is why people believe in the divine. Because that was kind of the best way to kind of describe it. It was a divine feeling. Now, that being said, I'm not religious at all. I do not sort of profess any sort of religion or anything like that. But I can understand the sensation of what it means, like, to build those connections to a higher power, to a higher being, and then just kind of how you bring that and how it makes you feel and what type of life you live after the fact. So that was my kind of start in the whole thing. After that, it was very fortunate for me that I got the opportunity to continue to participate in these ayahuasca ceremonies with my cousin, because he lives like 5 minutes away from my house. So for the first couple of years, I was probably going to ayahuasca ceremonies for about maybe like once every 3 weeks. And then COVID hit, that kind of slowed it down. and but still was taking the opportunity to kind of just participate and go. It was less people, larger room, taking all the precaution and everything, but we were still kind of just participating in those during that period, but still slowed down a little bit. And slowly but surely, we got to a point where now it's been over 110 experiences with psychedelics in different modalities, not just ayahuasca, although ayahuasca is kind of the one that I've had the most experiences with. And I can go into some experiences and examples if anyone wants to kind of like learn about those. But yeah, so somewhere around 70 experiences with ayahuasca, and then the rest are related more to psilocybin use, some LSD as well, although LSD is a little bit more challenging because it's like 12 hours that you have to invest into the whole thing at least. So the preparation, the whole setting up and everything becomes a little bit more challenging. And now recently, as of summer or prior to summer, spring this year, now with ketamine as well, because of the opportunities that I got to start working at this clinic that we mentioned, Better You, that works specifically with ketamine as a psychedelic assisted psychotherapy. And I've been working with them as an integration coach for a few months now. Prior to that, some of my experiences with psychedelics were basically helping other people, just because they started learning that I was going through these experiences. I was telling them about what was happening, like the therapeutic side of it, the benefits, the community, the space, the being in. I don't know. The colors are fun too. If we kind of want to kind of say it that way. So a lot of people started saying like, nah, that's too scary for me. I wouldn't want to do it. And then eventually they would say like, hey, if I do go, would you go with me? And I was like, sure, I'll go with you. So then it started becoming a thing of me being there for other people, not just necessarily being there for me in the experiences, which eventually kind of created a little pattern of me just kind of helping people through the whole thing. And then me coming from a therapeutic background, always being good at talking to people and just kind of listening. Um, More and more people started just kind of seeking me out for support, for guidance, just in general as a friend. And eventually, random people, because of the things that we're posting online, started like reaching out to me and asking about these things. And I sort of stumbled into the whole thing. Like I really didn't want to at any point really say like, hey, yeah, I'll make psychedelics a career, or I'll be an integration coach. Like that didn't exist really 2 years ago, at least not in my purview. I knew that they were trip sitters or there were guides or there were other things, but really not something that I would be thinking about. Eventually I was like, okay, so I'm already in the mental health field. I'm already helping people. I already have kind of like starting up a coaching practice that has to do more with purpose-driven kind of causes, projects, peak performance, flow states, um, allowing you an opportunity to get out of your own way, which is where my sort of handle for my Instagram comes out of. Like I was really wanting to explain to people like, what is it that I do? Because they were always asking. So I was always just doing like a bunch of different eclectic things. And I was like, well, if I want to kind of summarize it down, I kind of help people get out of their own way so that they can live a life worth living. And I'm like, okay, cool. So get out of your own way. So that's where kind of the handle comes from. Everything starts basically getting related, right? If you're working with people, helping them find purpose, helping them through an existential crisis, helping them connect to flow states for peak performance, for being your most creative, your most productive, for feeling your best and performing at your best when you need it the most. A lot of that also comes with just optimizing yourself in all the modalities possible. It is somewhat of a non-ordinary state of consciousness that you go into. I was already doing the psychedelics. That was already working for me. I was already getting some of the benefits, and I'm like, okay, let's start exploring if I can kind of do this with other people in my own way. I was definitely, and I'm still definitely not at all prepared to work with ayahuasca as a guide or facilitator. I will join you in the experience. I will be there with you. But I know a great guy that does it, has done over 1,000 guided ceremonies, my cousin. And I'm like, okay, so I'll be there with you, but this is not something that I know I'm capable of doing. And I don't want to overstep or overreach my limits, at least not in those kind of spaces where you are playing with very powerful kind of states of consciousness and just experiences. So I was okay, but psilocybin seems to me like something that I'm better able to manage, to handle, to navigate. I've done it enough times where I feel comfortable with the space. So I was speaking with my girlfriend, who was also at that time doing holistic women's circles. She got into it. She was a lawyer. She went into therapy, psychology, and said like, I don't want to do law anymore. I'm gonna do holistic women's circles. So she's been doing that as well. We started just kind of exploring how to do this together, and that's when we came up with this idea of finding a way to help people integrate their experiences and just kind of learn more about what they're doing. So we came up with another Instagram account called Integra tu Trip, which is a Spanish content related to psychedelics and psychedelic integration, because we do those experiences in Mexico. So we got together, we went through an experience together, a few experiences together with psilocybin, and we felt ready and comfortable enough to start guiding experiences for people. So we basically took everything that we learned about the experiences, took everything that I learned from my therapeutic social work background, started getting into like the trainings and things that we found online. There's a bunch of places that I know of that are doing trainings for that. I think one of them is called Embark. Another one is with Berkeley, and I can share those links to with people later so that you can kind of send them yourself. Just kind of started getting in more into it. Bought a bunch of books. One's from Michael Pollan, Rick Strassman. Got doing more into research with maps. Actually, I got to meet Paul Stamets as well at one point at an event in San Diego with all the mycology, everything that he does. So
I
it's kind
saw
of
the photo.
yeah. So everything just kind of started aligning, right? You kind of start building your way into something. You kind of go into the momentum, and eventually you kind of stumble into. You're like, okay, so now I'm doing this. It seems like that. So doing it the best you can, working in the best way possible, understanding that there is an evolution in the industry. There's an evolution in just kind of the medical field. There's an evolution in the therapeutic field, in the laws and the acceptance that people are going through. Me already kind of going through this for over 6 years. 6 years now. I just simply didn't want to uh, have to get stuck in the gatekeeping whenever that does happen, because the more it becomes mainstream, the more it becomes researched and evidence based, the more larger clinics come in, the more people start doing it. Of course, the more sort of restrictions or kind of like limitations, barriers to kind of make it appropriate, safe, secure for everyone. And I was like, okay, I need to start diving a little bit more deep into this whole thing. So yes, we're doing psilocybin experiences here in Mexico with certain people. We do follow a very kind of therapeutic modality. So we do it very, very small groups, very uh, kind of integration based. So we do prep work, we do the experience, we do like an actual kind of therapeutic conversation or a meditative kind of experience through the psilocybin, and then after that we offer opportunities for people to just kind of engage with the conversations for the integration post. So it's about kind of just being a little bit more robust in everything that we do with that. Just putting everything out there just in summary, where eventually, just because I was already doing that, I ran into the just sheer luck that I was like looking into places in the US, like how do I need to get involved with this? Who are the clinics that are being there? Who do I need to start talking to? What are the certifications trainings that I need to get so that I can formally be a part of this in the US, just because that's where most of the research is kind of being funded from. So I was like, okay. And all of a sudden ads start popping up because you're doing the research. The algorithm does what the algorithm does, and I started getting a lot of ads for different companies that were doing psychedelic assisted psychotherapy. Mainly, it seemed that the ones that were doing very kind of formal work, large scale, were clinics that were working with ketamine. Ketamine is already approved in the medical industry. There's a lot of research done. It's already built into the system of the way that people do prescriptions and insurance and all these other kind of things. So it had already been used off label. There's less of a stigma. It's not technically a psychedelic, it's associated anesthetic with psychedelic properties. So basically, the US, that's what it's approved right now, although they are working on approving other things. I think MDMA is the next one to be approved. Psilocybin is also in the trials, and ayahuasca seems to be there a little bit, but kind of further behind, right? So a lot of that stuff is like 5 years in the future, maybe. But ketamine is here now. People are accepting it. People are working with it. So I started just contacting these clinics, and eventually, after a while, Better You reached out. They said like, hey, we're interested in interviewing you. Let's have a conversation. 3 months process. during that 3-month process, I actually travel to Oaxaca, and I go to. I'm assuming people here know who Maria Sabina is. So I got to. Oh, there she is. Yes. So I actually got to meet Maria Sabina's great grandson. That he was once here in Tijuana. His name is Edgar, I believe,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Steve met him too.
Okay,
Did
so
he take you up to her altar that they have in the mountain?
yes, the hilltop where they do the prayers and kind of the venerations and all those things. So I went to Huautla Jimenez as kind of part of my trip. It was a trip in itself, to say the least. Like getting to central Oaxaca, going through like 6 hours of driving in that little van in the middle of nowhere. That drive like there's no tomorrow. There's people. I'm like, okay, I'm already here. I might as well just trust that these guys know what they're doing and they value their lives as much as I value my own, because they drive like crazy, like super fast and very, very kind of narrow roads. But it is what it is. So I got there to Huautla Jimenez. We got to spend the night over with him, with his family. And I was there because I asked him if I could do a ceremony with him. They call them veladas. He said yes. He was very, very kind, very friendly. And we just kind of went through it at his home, a few blocks away from Maria Sabina's old home, in the museum that they have there, and just kind of did the whole thing for the entire night. And I had never actually done that type of ritual, that type of ceremony. It's very, very unique, very, very different to how I've always accustomed to doing things in other places and how I know other people do them. So it was transformative, to say the least, but in the sense that I felt that okay, I'm in the right place to be doing what I'm doing. There's a connection there. There's an opportunity for me to continue to expand and to help and to do good in the world in my own way, and also connected to the psychedelics. So it was a great experience. It was about 3.5, 4 hours with him, specifically just in the night, him like singing, chanting, doing just the things that he does as a shaman curandero, which was kind of fun and just joyful, exciting in itself. Just being like, oh, dude, I'm like in Maria Sabina's great grandson's home doing these things, right? Like I would never imagine that I would be doing that.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, so it's super fun. And then all of a sudden, the ceremony starts coming to an end, and the way that he kind of closes it, I'm just gonna say this because it was very funny and it was kind of playful. They do something with water there from like the sort of like a purification kind of thing with water. They gather the water that they use specifically from the little streams that they have, and they use that for the ceremony. And kind of the end of the ceremony, they basically like spit the water in your face. So as I was there, just kind of standing up, ready for everything to just kind of come back to center and come back from the experience, I just feel this guy gonna get close to me, start saying all these chants in his Mazatec language, and then all of a sudden just kind of spit super hard in my face all the water, and I'm like, wow. This is probably the first and only time that someone is going to be spitting water in my face, and I'm going to be very extremely grateful for them doing it. And then we just started all laughing about that, and he left the room, let us just kind of settle into the experience for the rest of the evening. And the experience continued because it was a pretty high dose. It was over 5 grams of the mushrooms that he has. And I still kind of just went through the whole experience all the way to the night until kind of early in the morning. So very, very beautiful experience. Then after that, just continued to travel. Eventually got a notification from this company, Better You, that they were still looking for psychedelic integration coaches. So I reached back out to them and like, hey, I'm still waiting for the interview follow-up. If you're interested, I'm still wanting to be a part of it. You're doing great work, et cetera, et cetera. They're like, oh yeah, let's do an interview next week. So they interviewed me again for a couple of times, and then now I'm there working with them. So
amazing. And this is a great time.
Oh, wait, that way.
that way. Yeah. All right.
It's break time. It's time to check out our sponsors, pay some bills. You're here with us live on the Mushie Moment with Alejandro Hierro.
Got it.
A better roll on that one.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back. Hey, watch for the at ease ad.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor? If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyndonega.
We have two lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Oh, it wasn't in there.
You didn't get it added on to that one.
Damn. Well, we're back with the Mushie Moment. Myself, my awesome co-host Cindy, and Alejandro Hierro.
Yes.
Wow.
Question, Cindy?
Wow. Well, you answered my big one. So you've now, in your story of telling about yourself and how you got there, you're now working for this company. You've just been hired.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. And that was how many months ago?
So that started about 3 months now that I've been working for them officially. Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow. And why don't you tell us about this company?
So what can I say? So Better You Clinic.
Can I first get you to just move your microphone just a little away from your mouth? It's kind of distorting a bit when you.
How about now? Working?
No, that sounds fine.
Okay. Are we good?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. The technical difficulties. We do our best as we can. So Better You Clinic. I mean, the reason why I found them to be very kind of enticing to work with them, to collaborate with them, was mainly because I saw that it wasn't just about peddling like the ketamine. Like their whole modality was really about um, an integrative approach, a wellness approach, focusing on the whole person, not just on here's the medication. The very, very big approach on providing as much care and service at an affordable price compared to other alternatives that they were working with. I believe they've been in the field now officially for over 3 years. I'm not sure exactly all the dates and times, but I'm sure that we can find them on their website with all their kind of story and about. But just the fact that everyone working there, or everyone that I know, because it's a team now about a little over 50 people, that everyone has their own experiences with trauma, with depression, suicidality. There's a lot of them that have gone through like very, very challenging, tough things, and they came into the space wanting to help, wanting to be of service, wanting to also acknowledge that what they were doing prior to those experiences was not exactly working until they found the ketamine experience, right? So all those things really enticed me, really wanted me to be a part of it. I saw that they were very robust in all the information that they were providing. I loved kind of just their brand identity, the logo and everything they had, right? Like the little face, the better kind of you kind of thing, like smiley face if you see the logo. So it felt like it was a good culture to be a part of. Whenever I was doing the interviews, everyone was very conversational, very friendly. It seemed like they were really enjoying the work that they were doing. It almost seemed more like they wanted to see if I was a good fit for their company culture rather than am I good at what I do. So it's like if I have good intentions, if I have, of course, the experience, I have the background, but I can be trainable within their cultural space, like the person that I am, not what I do as a service. I think that became also very, very valuable on my side as well, because it's a place that I feel comfortable going to, speaking with the people, just kind of having that fun environment to work in, and definitely not not a clinical setting in traditional sense as one would expect. I work remotely. I work from home. I can work from different places. I could travel around the world, and I can still continue to work with them. They have a very large kind of digital footprint. So they have a lot of people around the world that work for them in different parts: Brazil, Philippines, the U.S., Mexico. I'm not sure if they have anyone in Canada or not, or in other places, but I do know that we are pretty much spread over around a lot of places. And their main hub, their headquarters, is based in California and Malibu. So that's where they have their official clinic. And the way that they do work is they partner with different clinicians and clinics around the U.S. and with different pharmaceutical companies that are able to kind of provide the prescriptions for people, and they just kind of bring everything together, and they set up a program. The program that they have is self-paced with a lot of support systems sort of set in between. Primary care providers, they do like all the medical background for people. They make sure that you're a good fit for the program. They explore any sort of contraindications that you may have to see if you would be able to get benefit from this or not. They work a lot with chronic treatment-resistant depression or with CPTSD. They work a lot with people with suicidality, going through grief, bipolar disorder. There's some of them as well, although very with no manic episodes. Just kind of generalizing the examples of the people that I've worked with in the past, and it's been wonderful to work with all these kind of variety of people in that kind of space. I come into the whole experience somewhere in between their process. So once they're already accepted, once they've gone through all their kind of backgrounds to know just that they're a good fit, once they've been prescribed their medication, once they receive their little kit that we call the brain box. It comes with medication, with also a nausea medication, because some people kind of experience nausea with the ketamine. So just kind of to mitigate the negative side effects. They get an app where they can download their information. They can follow up with us. They can kind of follow a specific program that's developed in such a way where it goes through 4 stages, basically, which is, if I'm not mistaken, heal, grow, transcend and love, or love and transcend. I think it's love and transcend. Heal, grow, love, and transcend. So it's 4-step kind of process and just kind of their journey that people go through. People don't need to go through the process specifically, but it is set up for people so that they have a guided protocol for them to kind of go through. Journaling prompts, the support system there with all the information that's provided. They have access to a support team whenever they need to speak with someone for whatever reason. And eventually, if they feel ready for it, somewhere in between the halfway point of their experiences, they get to talk to me or to someone like me as an integration coach. And the work that we do with integration coaching, pretty much, and maybe Cindy, you would be able to kind of dive a little bit deeper into this, but it's more of just understanding are they preparing properly? Are they creating the proper set and setting? Are they understanding everything that they have to do about the challenges that may come when they go into an experience in the psychedelic space, be it with the ketamine or with other modalities, in this case specifically talking about ketamine for them and what they may feel, what they may not feel. Some people just want someone to talk to because they don't have other people in their world that have gone through psychedelic experiences, and they just want to share. They want to explain. They want to talk about these,
Community.
like, yeah, build community, build a place where they can kind of join other people in their experiences and learn from other people's experiences. And at the same time, this comes up a lot, and they ask, I want to know if I'm doing it right. And I'm like, well, there's no, technically there's no right or wrong way, as long as you're kind of
I have
keeping
the
to the
same
basics.
experience as my friend over there. I must be
Yeah.
broken. I must be doing it wrong. Yeah.
Yes, I've heard that all these people have like amazing, awe-inspiring, transcendental, spiritually connected, mechanical machine elves kind of connecting towards, and all this kind of other stuff. And I haven't gone through that. And I'm like, well, you don't always need to go through that. And then we just kind of explain the whole thing about what it is, how it works, what it's actually doing for them in their brain, in terms of the opportunity for the neuroplastic effects, and just how it's actually kind of helping associate or disassociate different types of wiring in their brain. I'm being very kind of loose and metaphorical with my words, of course, because I do not have all the neuropsychological technicalities to talk about all the specifics.
No, you're putting it in there.
Yeah.
You're integrating it great.
You're speaking in a language that everybody can understand, which is perfect.
Yes. And then just from understanding that part of how you will be able to still connect to an emotion, but release yourself from the undesired response to that memory or to that emotion, to that sensation, so you can better kind of just embrace the lessons that were there and just kind of release yourself from everything that you no longer need or serves you in life. So just kind of having that part of the whole thing, and then coming into one of the most challenging sides of people, although it's one of the most important parts. We kind of mentioned this off the episode, is what comes after. Really, what's the once we're back in baseline, when you're actually challenging yourself in the day-to-day life and the day-to-day kind of grind, when we reconnect to our clay feet, as some people kind of like to say, and really just have to grind with the reality of wherever it is we were at before we started these experiences or these treatments, right? We can spend whatever time in a psychedelic experience, this associative, meditative, therapeutic experience. It can be very healing, very transformative. It can be very, very powerful. It can also be very terrifying for some people. And at the same time, it's like, okay, but that ends after a few hours. Even if it doesn't feel that way, you come back. You come back to baseline. And now now what's next? What comes after? And that becomes the actual work. And ironically, that also becomes the boring part for some people, just because it's mundane, it's simple, it's routine. It's the things such as, we call them pillars in the program in Better You. I've heard it sort of framed that way as well. In other places, kind of pillars of health and wellness do you have a proper sleep routine where you're actually recovering and resting properly? Are you setting up your space so you can go to bed as you should? Are you eating properly? And by that, I don't mean like, do you have a nutritionist with you, like going through all these kind of methodical things? It's really, are you nurturing yourself with the things that are aligned with the type of lifestyle that you really want to live and the type of energy that you need for yourself in your day-to-day that you do? Are you hydrating yourself properly? Are you drinking enough water? right? Are you getting enough sunlight in the morning when you're waking up so that you can kind of just activate your or get in tune with your circadian rhythms so that you can kind of get that boost of cortisol in the proper moment of the day so that you can kind of go through your energy cycles up and down properly as you should, so you can get the vitamin D that you need so it can actually kind of do what it needs to do to help you with all your other kind of internal processes for your own health and wellness. Are you doing things that are fun? Are you really engaging with things you love to do that are engaging, that are hobbies that you may have done when you were young or as a older adult, but still that you really enjoy doing them just for the sake of doing them, right? That they call something that is autotelic, right? Just the joy of doing it for the joy of doing it. Are you surrounding yourselves with the right people, with the right community? They may not be on this kind of journey with you, but are they healthy people in the sense that are they helping you thrive? Are they helping you kind of connect? Are they helping you just build a stronger tribe that you really identify with? Are you moving your body? Like, are you, whatever that means, are you going out to walk at the park, at the beach? Are you doing stretching exercises? Are you doing yoga? Are you doing dance? Are you just kind of playing around with your pets and on the floor, your kids, and engaging in all those simple things seems mundane, but at the same time, these are the things that we were evolutionary primed to do that actually kind of help us stay in homeostasis emotionally, cognitively, physically speaking. And those are the kind of things that people stop doing just because they need to do the other stuff, right? They need to work, they need to take care of this, they need to whatever that, and we put ourselves at the end, ironically, which we need to do the opposite when we're kind of going through this process. So just kind of helping people again understand that once they've gone through the experiences with the ketamine, they've gone through different realizations, different lessons, different insights, then it's like helping them kind of process that and know what it actually means to them, because it could be something as random like I turned into a plant and I don't know what that means to me, and I was like just eating these bugs as a Venus flytrap, and I have no idea what that means. And then you start talking to them and they're like, well, I'm very snappy in my life, I'm very impulsive with my anger, I push people away, I'm very defensive, I don't like just kind of getting into conflicts with all these things. I'm like, okay, so maybe do those seem like things that a snappy Venus flytrap kind of just attacking everything would kind of seem like they're doing? They're like, yeah, well, maybe kind of. Okay, so what type of plant do you actually want to be like? and then they come up with something like, oh, I just want to be a gardenia because gardenias, when I was growing up, my family, my mom, we grew them in our garden, and it's always been a beautiful plant, blah blah blah, all these kind of examples. So now it's like, okay, so how can we translate that into your day-to-day life? So what does that mean to you? What are the actual characteristics of how are you going to transform from that Venus flytrap into that gardenia that you're talking about? How are we going to help you do that, not just emotionally, but how are we actually going to help you do that tangibly, objectively, day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, so that you can actually start tapping into and transforming into these things? And I know that just talking about that, it seems like odd that like a simple metaphor would be something that you can kind of just dissect and tap into something very powerful for people. The fact that they've gone through the psychedelic experience, that they connected to that in a very altered state of consciousness kind of way, means that there is something there that's resonating with them from the subconscious that they're trying to put words to but don't have the words to. And I'm just there basically as a mirror to just kind of ask questions, to play around with the facts, to explore ideas, maybe sometimes to just tell them, like, it seems like that's very hard for you, I can kind of see that your eyes are kind of watering, let's just kind of sit with that, and then just be there with them, and then just breathe with them, just kind of allowing them the space to be okay with not being okay, and things start coming up, and then you just kind of take it from where they're at. It's really always about where they're at, what they're coming into the experience with, and me just hopefully being receptive enough for them to be able to bounce off the information that they're trying to convey towards the work that they're trying to achieve. So if I'm doing a good job at that, it works out in the end.
Nice. You put that very succinctly and nicely. That was awesome.
Yeah,
So
I love the plant metaphor. I might steal that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and that was actually true. That was something that came up in a session with one of our clients. So
that's amazing. I love it.
So
Sorry,
have you
Steve.
done the ketamine as well?
I have. I've done 5 experiences. One, so the way that they have it set up, just kind of explaining a little bit about that, is with the kit that they send you. Let's just say there's 2 different packages, 4 session package and an 8 session package. Usually, when it's an 8 session package, is because it was deemed that the person needed to go into the protocol with a little more intensity. So the more kind of robust protocol is twice a week for at least a month. So twice a week for a month, going through the experience, and then just kind of coming back to it and exploring if they want to go down once a week, and then just kind of moving towards maintenance, or just kind of releasing yourself from the ketamine experience. Really, it's about using it as a tool, not a crutch. So just kind of exploring what that is for people. So that I was offered and asked, like, hey, if you were doing this with people, you should kind of just explore, see what it is for you, and then we can just kind of work through this. Everyone always needs something to work through. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I kind of went through my own process with them. They gave me my little kit, and the way you do it is you start with something called an acclimation period. Acclimation period is basically you go either quarter dose or half dose of what your full prescribed dose is, and you also do just kind of holding it in your mouth, so you can absorb the medication through the mouth. Hold it for 15 minutes, and then you spit out the medication. To go through your experience lasts somewhere about 45 to 90 minutes or so. Then just come back for that, and then you kind of start working your way up depending on what you feel works for you. I basically worked my way up all the way to full dose ingested because I felt comfortable enough because of all my experiences with other psychedelic kind of just ceremonies and trips. And at the same time, because I also want to be aware of what people are telling and talking to me about when they go through their own things. So the max dose that I had, I went through it, I ingested it, and that took me into what probably would be ego dissolving kind of experience, what some people may kind of call K-hole. So I've gone through all the spectrums of the kind of just mellowy, meditative, very, very cool kind of nice, comfortable, relaxing feelings, all the way to, oh, this is starting to be psychedelic. I can feel kind of this disassociation happening. I'm noticing just kind of different sensations and symbols and everything coming up, connecting to my thoughts in a very different kind of way, all the way to, oh no, this is getting into, I'm not sure if this is real. Oh, damn it. And then just kind of just acknowledging I'm lost in psychedelic space where all I can do is just kind of breathe and listen to the music, and then just let that be whatever that is.
Just
and then just exactly the best advice that I have ever learned or have been given in this whole thing is whenever you're going through something challenging, and even if it's not challenging, just breathe and listen to the music.
Yeah,
that's pretty much anything you're going to be able to do, really. So just breathe and listen to the music. So learning that.
Struggle. Just don't struggle.
Yeah, no struggle, no expectations. Just breathe and listen to the music. Surrender to the experience. Accept that whatever will come, and just kind of go through it. So I got to that place. It was very, very interesting. To be honest, one of the most intense experiences that I've had in the psychedelic space has been with the ketamine at that level. Although I have been through many, many more. But yeah, that one was the one where I really felt that kind of disconnect between what was happening inside my inner space versus in the outer space and baseline. I had my girlfriend there with me. She was kind of helping me set up the space, and we were doing a little bit of singing bowls kind of experiences as well. And she was talking to me. She was saying, like, hold on to this ball. She put it in my body. She was like hitting the balls for the resonance and the whole kind of meditative process for the sound healing thing. I had no idea that was happening. Like I was going through my own thing in my own internal space, just kind of in a void, just in existing in nothingness, wondering if this is what death feels like. And then until all of a sudden I just kind of blinked and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm back. What am I doing in the floor? But it was challenging, hard experience. Not the hardest, but one of the kind of most challenging experiences that I've gone through. But very, very satisfying, very, very good to understand what people go through when they go through these things, and just acknowledging, again, the power and the importance of setting, the space, the mindset that you go into, the intentions that you're doing for yourself,
Yep.
the reason why you're doing it, the people that are supporting you and when you're doing it, and also the opportunity to allow yourself the space to go through it. It's not whoever's there supporting you shouldn't be helping you all the time. It's like just having that conversation with people and knowing like, hey, if this happens, then yes, but just do this, just tell me that, just hold my hand, just hold my shoulder, just say these things, only respond with the most minimal, like whatever it is that you actually have the conversation with them so they can actually give you the space to go through the experience. Because
Yeah,
one of the
really,
things,
the only time that anything should be intervened is when they're like when it becomes life-saving protocols.
yeah. And the one thing that I can say, just as unique compared to other experiences that I've had with other psychedelics and now with the ketamine seems to give you kind of this opportunity of observing the observer. So it's more like it's you working with you versus something like with psilocybin or ayahuasca that does seem like there's a lot of value having a guide there going through the experience with you and actually kind of doing the whole thing with the music, with the chanting, with whatever work that they do as a healer in the experience, as a facilitator for the experience. Also with the psilocybin, feels that same way. With ketamine, I've noticed that difference where it's something that you are at least better able to navigate just by yourself, and there's value in the fact that you are doing the work yourself with yourself.
I'm going to ask you to be specific on what you would say were the biggest differences between the Aya journey, the mushroom journey, and the ketamine journey.
Yeah, with the Aya, like I said, the melodic music, less lyrics seems to be best, just because it allows you to go deeper into your own conversations, your own experiences. Psilocybin seems to be a little more friendly sometimes. I don't know exactly how to explain it. Everything seems to be a little bit more alive when you're working through it. Very contemplative as well. With ayahuasca, is really just you're just gone with the music, and it's more of the guidance through the music and through the work that the facilitator is doing and whatever he is kind of doing and just kind of working through you. And it does seem to be a little bit more. I don't want to say challenging per se, but more work gets done. I've seen, at least in my case, my own experiences with ayahuasca versus with psilocybin or anything else. And just with LSD, kind of closing with that, it seems to me very more conversational. Like I feel like I have more of an opportunity to actually just engage with people, to connect to emotions, to release myself from an emotion, to go back to that emotion, to process in a more kind of baseline space through a psychedelic kind of mindset. So those would be kind of differences.
So I need to break in now and ask my final question. I looked down a minute ago and I'm like, oh my goodness, we're at the end. Like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Like, no.
I got one question though.
Oh, but I have to.
5-MeO.
I have once. I don't seem to respond very well to the inhaled smoked versions for whatever reason.
Oh, well, we should have a chat after the show because there's many more ways to do it. But I sadly still have to break in. If people want to reach you, they can reach you through Better You Care, or would.
So if they want to reach me directly, just with the Instagram, the Out of Your Own Way, I believe would be the best way. If they are very interested, if they are in the U.S., if they want to learn more about psychedelic-assisted psychotherapies through ketamine, then the Better You website would be the best way to kind of just go into that. That's its own very unique thing. It's because it is just US based, but Out of Your Own Way, myself, I can just talk to people from all over the world and help in different types of modalities. So yeah, either or is great to be there, but the clinical side of things would be betteryoucare.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And that's it.
Oh, it's that time again? Thank you for joining us here on the Mushie Moment with my awesome co-host Cindy, myself, and our incredible guest, Alejandro. And I can tell we're going to have you on again anyway.
Of course.
Because, it was sad to see we came to the end.
Just flicked the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Happy to join whenever you have me over.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye, Cindy. Bye, Steve.
Bye.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.